Yeah, yeah.
Coming up on Mental Health Marty, y'all know it's Hot Topic Tuesdays, what we do, but we got a lot to discuss. Stay tuned. What's up, everyone? Hey, y'all, it's good to see you. What's going on? It's Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist, coming to you live and always in living color in Southern California, where the sun is always shining and it's not raining. I wish I could say it never rains in Southern California, but we know that's not the truth anymore. Tony, y'all need a new song. I don't know what's up, but hey, while we had it, it was all good. What's going on, everyone? Let me know you're out there live and participating with us tonight. How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling? So glad that you are joined us tonight. And we're trying to get back on this regular path, y'all, and getting back on topic what's going on in our BIPOC communities as we deal with mental health and the seriousness of mental health. So, hey, what's going on, y'all? Let me know what's happening and everything. Let me remind you why we do what we do here with Mental Health Marty. Mental Health Marty is intended to be a psychoeducational show to really put to the forefront all of the things that we go through as people of color as it pertains to mental health and mental health awareness. We want to take the shame out of discussing mental health and being healthy. So therefore, we are not a substitute for you seeing your therapist, your psychiatrist, any medical professional or anything on that nature. But we want to be an addition to your treatment plan to make sure that you are living well. Why? Because too many of us are secretly suffering in silence in the shadow of shame. And we know what that does to us. It kills us in the end. And we want you to live your best life. That's why I always say you got to speak up, speak out, and live. However, if you are experiencing any type of psychiatric emergency or any type of thing that you feel would cause you to need to go to urgent care, we want you to do just that. And also, we want to remind you of the brand new national helpline, which is 988. It is absolutely amazing. Dial 988 from any phone, and you will get the necessary help that you need and support that you need to make sure you are living your best life. Now, how do you engage with us? I'm so glad you asked me that question. How do you engage? Engage with us by following us on YouTube under Mental Health Marty. Now, I'm going to strongly recommend that you subscribe to us. Yes, and how do you do that? Daryl, can you show us how you subscribe to us? Yes. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that's how you subscribe to us. It's that simple. And every time we have a show, you know we are here. Listen, Jonathan, good evening, my brother. Hope all is well. Good to see you. Thank you for always being such a faithful person here that subscribes to us. Jonathan, last time I talked to you, man, you was on the cruise. I know you're back. Good to see you. Let us know you're listening tonight. Let us know where you're listening from and what's going on, everybody. Hope everyone has had a blessed week already. Can you believe we are in April? Where has the time gone? I don't know. It's April already, and next week is this coming week is Passion Week, as we're preparing for Easter and celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ. In that, for those who celebrate, yes, Miss Hill, Tanya, good to see you. Always good to see you. Miss you. Hope that you have a blessed Passion Week, and I appreciate you tuning in with us tonight. Listen, we're running a little bit behind schedule. Dr. Sean and Dr. Margarita, they're both not feeling well tonight, so keep them in your prayers that they might feel better. And my brother from the same mother, he'll be on very shortly, but hope that you are doing well. Listen, let's talk about all the amazing things that's going on for the month of April that we celebrate in the mental health field. One of the things we definitely celebrate in the mental health field is that April is BIPOC. When I say BIPOC, that's Black, Indigenous, People of Color. And April is BIPOC Health Month. So glad that we're finally celebrating that. Beanie Sellers listening from downstairs. Mom. You always got that. Mom, what's going on? Tony Baloney, feel better. Yes, BIPOC Health Month. And what we're talking about there, listen, we want to make sure that we as a people are doing much better to take care of ourselves. There is a direct correlation between our physical health and our mental health. When our physical health is bad, 9 chances out of 10, our mental health is bad. And when our mental health is bad, 9 chances out of 10 that our physical health is bad as well. And so it's very important and imperative that we live well, that we pay attention to both our emotional and mental health as we do our physical and physiological health. It's very important that spring is in the air. Let's get back out there and start exercising. Let's do some walking. Let's do some yoga. Let's do something to get the blood flowing in our bodies. Get some fresh air. Let the sunlight hit our faces. A lot of us have vitamin D deficiencies, so getting sunlight allows us to supplement the deficiencies of vitamin D that we have so that we can get some natural energy and natural sunlight and get that vitamin D the natural way. It does a body great. I'm starting to watch what I eat, y'all. I'm going back to some healthy eating. Had some amazing stir-fried zucchini and a beautiful tri-tip and as well today. And it was absolutely great. It was light. I didn't feel weighed down. I didn't feel like I was exhausted by the end of the day. So April is our BIPOC Health Awareness Month as well. Not only that, April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and we need to be talking about that. Too often, children suffer in silence because they don't know who to trust. And oftentimes in child abuse, how do you identify that a child might be abused or that they're going through something? We need to look at one of the clear signs that something is going on with a child is when their behavior patterns change drastically. What does that look like? It could be bedwetting. What does it look like? It could be clinging. What does it look like? It could be isolation and fear. When we're looking at child abuse, it could be maybe they're not eating. It could be maybe they don't want to do the activities that they normally participated in. It could appear like they don't want to go home or there's bruises or fear. And child abuse is not just physical, it is emotional as well. And the emotional damage is just as powerful and long-term as the physical abuse of that as well. So it's very imperative that we pay attention to child abuse and what that looks like on a broader scale of not just physical abuse, but what it looks like emotionally as well. Because too often our children they don't say anything. Why? We know what we say in our communities of color. What goes on in this house, I need y'all to say it with me, stays in this house. And we have to stop that stigma because it promotes us keeping secrets and secrecy and not crying out for help. So with children, pay attention. Aunties, uncles, big brothers, big mama, all y'all, pay attention to the behavior patterns of children. And that tells you those are clear signs. I'm not saying that if these behavior patterns happen, that there is child abuse present. What I am saying is this: pay attention. Ask questions. Get them in a safe environment. Make sure they're not scared. Because remember, children do best in the home of origin, but we have to also make sure that those homes are greatly protected in every sense. What are some other things? Here's what I want to challenge you to do as well. April is also Stress Awareness Month. Let me say that again. It's Stress Awareness Month. What stresses you out? I'm going to challenge you. Measure your stress level. How do we do that? Oftentimes, I ask everyone on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say your stress level is at? 1 being not bothering you at all, 10 meaning, I'm going to say it this way, that you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. What? You know how just all that, can you not sit still and all those things? Look at your stress levels. What is your stress telling you? Stress can kill you. Let me say that again. Stress can kill you. Do you know that 80% of strokes are avoidable? Let me say that one more time, especially for Black men. 80% of strokes are avoidable. What is the number one cause of strokes in America, in our BIPOC Black communities? Stress. Let me say that one more time for those in the back row who did not hear that. What is the number one challenge and cause of strokes? It is stress. And so we need to have stress awareness and look at some things that counteractive, that can lower our stress rates, that can be counterintuitive or counter, you know what I'm trying to say, that can interact with the stress to make sure. I'm going to challenge us this week to 1, measure our stress, and 2, be intentional about some of the things that we can do to alleviate stress. What are those things that we can do? I'm so glad you asked. What we can do is get into some routines. I say it this way. I believe that stress has to be managed and scheduled out. Let me say that one more time. I believe that stress has to be managed and scheduled out. What are you saying exactly? What I'm saying is, why worry about something that is next week and you're worried about it today? Get your calendar out and put next week and put that down and talk about or schedule that out for another time next week and get that off of your plate today. Manage your stress level and schedule it out accordingly. There's nothing you can do about that problem next week today. So let's schedule that out accordingly and manage that appropriately, so that, because what happens is when you are full of stress, everything becomes a 10. And those things that really are a 1 or a 2, you make it a 10. And so the things that you could complete, we don't complete because we're too worried about things that are outside of our scope and outside of our control. Stress is worried about those things. Stress and anxiety is worried about the things that have not yet come. While depression is the complete opposite. Depression is over worry about the things that have already occurred. Now, we can either correct those things that have occurred so that we don't repeat the pattern, but there's no need to continue to worry about something that has not occurred yet. Let's get in the moment and live in the moment now. Another one of the things that you can do by prioritizing and scheduling out your stress is getting grounded. What are you saying? Getting grounded. Take Take some time in the morning. Take some time in the afternoon. Take some time in the evening just to slow down, stop what you are doing, and get grounded. One of the techniques that I love, come on and do this with me. I love the whole tapping here. So some of the stress points of your brain, tapping and telling yourself, I love the mantra, I am enough. I am enough. Come on and do that with me. I am enough. Yes, and reminding yourself, even right here, this does not have control over me. I am powerful enough and I have the ability to outthink this situation and this problem. Rubbing your temples, reminding yourself all these things, they're very practical and very simple. But let me challenge you this and ask you this too. Why is it we will forego the simple things but try the difficult things? I believe, again, anxiety and stress can be managed if we do the simple things. Again, doing the tapping, as I'm rubbing, doing the tapping, doing the rubbing, getting those pressure points in our and even on our wrist. Tapping, what does that do? It helps to alleviate a lot of anxiety and stress that we have. Believe it or not, tapping does work. So here's my challenge to you this week. As you feel anxiety and stress coming up, I'm going to challenge you 3 times a day to really get grounded and get focused. Even if you take 2 minutes and just reminding yourself, tapping, I am enough. I am bigger than this situation. This problem cannot overcome me. It will not overcome me. I have the ability to outthink and overcome this situation because I am better than this. This cannot and will not kill me. This is not to my demise, but to my benefit. Do you see what I'm doing? I am doing positive reaffirmation and positive thinking because I'm changing the narrative and I'm being in control of my own narrative so that it is not overwhelming me. But can I say it this way? I am overwhelming the situation with all of my positivity. So I stop the stinking thinking and I put it on trial immediately and then exit it off of my immediate plate and deal with it at the appropriate time. So April is Stress Awareness Week. I have 2 more things I want to remind you about April. April is also Alcohol Awareness Month. And there have been so many of us and so many people that have overcome alcohol. And I applaud some of my family members who I know have been now dry and clean, we say it that way, for 10 plus years. And that is a challenge, but we don't let the alcohol or the alcohol is abuse to overcome us. So we want to celebrate all of those this month who have overcome that abuse, who have overcome that addiction, who have overcome that situation and problem. Because a lot of times we turn to alcohol when we are feeling anxious. We turn to alcohol and when we are depressed. And alcohol is a depressant. So if you're depressed and you're drinking alcohol, it's not going to make you better. It's actually going to dig the hole deeper and make it so much deeper for you in that. So alcohol awareness, as well as the last thing is sexual abuse awareness and prevention as well. And we cannot forget about those who've been abused sexually. And that is a form of DV. And we cannot, I live in those of us in Southern California, we know one of the biggest things. And I was having this conversation this past weekend with an amazing woman, African-American woman who works for San Bernardino County, who is a sex trafficking coach. And she is about making sure that we are more aware. The sex trafficking is bigger than what we believe it is. And can I tell you some of the biggest offenders of sex trafficking? Some of the biggest offenders of sex trafficking are our rich counterparts. I was going to label it and say, I'm not even going to put an ethnicity on it because It's those who are rich, who have the money, that is keeping the game of sex trafficking and dare I even say prostitution alive in this country. We know that prostitution and sex trafficking is one of the oldest industries in the world. However, we need to be aware of it because there are so many sex traffickers out there, and they are pimping our children and in group homes, in schools. You heard me, in charter schools, dare I say in churches, because they take prey on the most vulnerable young women and young men and get their nails done, buy them a hamburger, and give them all these empty promises, all so that they can feed on their emotions. So I just wanted to make you aware of all the things that's happening here today on the month of April of awareness that I want you to be aware of and keep in mind as we go through the month of April. So I'm so glad right now that my brother from the same mother is here to join me tonight. So glad that he is here. None other than Rob Sellers.
Hey, what's good? What's good, bro? What's good? Hey, my apologies. Running a little behind, little traffic, but hey, I'm here.
Listen, I was doing the Pony and Dog show, trying to keep the three-ring circus going on. But man, it's good to see you. Good to see you.
Hey, you too, man. Good to see you, bro. No problem.
Yes, but Bobby, I can't even do this show without talking about this great event that's going on that we are so excited to host together through the Sellers Foundation and the Dr. Lee Sellers Scholarship Foundation on Saturday, April 15th in none other than Newark, Ohio.
not the nerd.
Newark, Ohio.
A lot of people don't understand that. Terminology.
They don't understand it at all. No, sir. But man, I'm so proud of the vision that you had for this, and for those who may not have got a chance to see us last month, but can you please again remind us of one, what this Sellers Foundation is all about, and why is it so imperative that we pour into our young minds today?
No doubt. The main thing when I got behind, trying to start something for the family, I got tired. I should say tired, but it seemed like to me that the only time when we communicated or got together was somebody passing or something tragic happened. And I just was trying to figure out a way, like, how can we, commune? How can we network? How we could get together and think of something constructive that we could help out towards our community. And it just, the ancestors talk to you, man. And it just, just open up that, we should do this in front of for our ancestor, our uncle, Lee Sellers. And, man, things just lined up. And, I got with our family members, you, Amy, Sue's, our sister, a couple other members of the family. And threw out this proposal. Everybody jumped on board. And I think everything just took care of itself. But definitely, man, we have to back our youth, man. We got to be there for them. A lot of things are, taken away from them as far as a lot of the structures, some of the things in school, obviously, just in life, it's just like a guide piece. I want to say we need to show that we care for them, that we're going to love them up, and we're going to be there for them. That's the main reason why we wanted to do this.
That's right. Excellent. And part of our goal for our listeners is this, and we would love for you, I'll make sure at our next show, and just now hit me to have that information up, that there's a wonderful opportunity. Our goal is that we're going to be giving 2 scholarships every year to this year, we're going to give one to an incoming freshman and one to a returning sophomore starting in the fall specifically for Wilberforce University. Our uncle graduated with his BA in social work. And here's the tragic thing that struck me, Bobby, is this, that they no longer offer that program. That's tragic. Why is that so tragic that they no longer offer? I know what my opinion is, especially on it. But why do you think that is so tragic and definitely not a great feat, but a horrible feat that we no longer offer the social welfare degree at Wilberforce University?
while we was going through this course of putting it together as far as setting up the scholarship fund, obviously we reached out to Wilberforce, our contacts there, and they just let us know that this incoming, I should say, this upcoming fall semester, they're basically shutting down that program. I would say,
Yes.
without getting any further details, because I didn't, ask them or research it.
Right.
But in my opinion, it was just maybe lack of funds and also enrollment. But social work is key to our community, but
It
also
is.
to let's break it down, Black people.
Yes. Yes. I totally
So
agree
hey,
because, yeah.
oh,
Go
my
ahead. Go
fault.
ahead.
So hey, I look at it, always in a positive light, right? So hey, I look at it as, hey, that could be an opening where we can go ahead, step in and refurbish that program.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And I think that would be, and part of my goal is I definitely want to see what we can do. And I want to talk to some of my contacts that we have at other universities as well who are doing this, because we already know, one, that this field is dominated by our white female counterparts. The numbers were down for that program, right? Although the numbers were down, I think we have to do more education about the importance of us having Black and people of color in this social services field, because we still know that there's a disproportionate amount of our children being removed from the homes. I deal with a contract for one of our counties out here in Southern California, and one of them is anger management and counseling contract that we work specifically with Children and Family Services. And it was quite amazing. I had this young lady who had two children, and she was going off constantly on that social worker. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. I said, sis, you got to pull back. And she was going on, that be, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
superlative and everything. I said,
Yes.
okay, what is your problem with this woman? She goes, that is the same social worker that removed me from my home when I was a child with my mother. And now she is removing my children from me. And she had the audacity not to remember who I was. So now we're dealing with trauma. We're dealing
Yes.
with PTSD. We're dealing with
Yeah.
all those unresolved issues. And so when I went back and told the social worker, I said, do you realize that you were the social worker that removed her from her home when she was a child?
Mm-hmm.
And just
Mm-hmm.
having that, and that's why it's so imperative that we have social workers, we have therapists, we have case managers, we have all these things in the social welfare department that look like us, so that we can breathe. Time after time, when I was doing in-home behavioral therapy, whether it was from a Black family or Hispanic family, when I would walk through the door, they would just give me this sigh of relief, saying, wow, someone who understands us. And I got past the behaviors and start looking at what motivated behaviors, because all behaviors, both positive and negative, are motivated. But Amy, bad social worker, but that's a social worker who maybe does not care and who is not culturally sensitive to our community, who does not understand. Yeah, bad social worker, but how many bad social workers do we have across this whole country? So we can't afford for funding and programs like this and social welfare being closed and dying down, because it has a direct impact on our communities. What's your thoughts
Definitely.
behind that, too, Junior? Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of things, man. We just got to restructure things. Like you were
Yes.
just describing, we have to get to the root of the problem. We got to stop
Yes.
seeing things at a surface level, because, like your example you were showing, she was triggered, obviously, because of her
Yes.
past, and
Very much
this same
so.
social worker is dealing with now her as an adult and her kids. So the whole thing is like a lot of things in our community. We have to start restructuring. We have to start reframing our own mind too.
Yes.
Because let's
Yes.
face it. Let's face it. We've been led astray so much. We need the most help. No question
Yeah.
about it. We're at the bottom of
Yeah.
everything. So in
Yeah.
order for us to get on track, we just have to restructure a lot of programs, and definitely we have to restructure the social working well-being also in our community. No question.
No, totally agree with you, and that's what I love the quote by Dr. Rita Walker, and I say that all the time. She says we are so accustomed and have normalized trauma in our community that we no longer recognize when we are in
Yeah,
crises,
yeah. I
and
mean,
or
we
if we're in. Go ahead, yeah.
no. Go ahead, go ahead. Finish it. My
No, I
apologies.
said,
Go ahead,
and
finish.
or even if we're in crises, and part of the problem is we know we're in crises, but we don't know how to get out of that negative pattern. Then again, we just become very numb to it and just
Yep,
accept it. And therefore, when we
yep,
look at the life expectancy of black
yep.
men, which is anywhere from 10 to 12 years less than their white counterparts, 5 to 7 years less than their Hispanic counterparts. Why? Because we take all that trauma, all that stress in, and we hold it right here close to our hearts. Your heart cannot take all that stress. At some point, do you ever get a reprisal from it? Do you ever get a respite from it? No. And so as a result, that's why I said earlier, 80% of strokes is preventable, but we have to be able to identify not only the stress, but identify the trauma that's associated with it and where it sits in our bodies.
Yeah, no question. I mean, we have normalized all our tragedies. We expect
Yeah.
everything to go wrong for us because not only that we've actually experienced that, but also let's face it, the whole structure is set up for us to fail. The whole structure is set up for us not to win. The whole structure is for us not to get healthy. Everything that we're seeing as a tragedy in our
Yes.
community is designed to happen. It's designed
Yes.
that route. And what we need to do is obviously, it's like with anything else. When we see all this trauma, we have to
Wow.
go in with ourselves, meaning that we have to go into, hey, our blackness, meaning that we
Yeah.
have to help one another. Plain and simple. We have to help one another. We have to stop all this individual, all this. I want to say solo work. I want to say, oh, I can handle it on my own. I don't need nobody.
But
Oh,
we
no, no, no.
can't.
We're wrong. We're
But
wrong.
but
We're
but
wrong
but
on that.
that's also the teachings of us that we've passed down systemically as well, that's designed to break us. I love this. Aim, I'm so proud of you. Said she just applied for the admissions counselor with Wilberforce, hoping to be a part of the university to help give support and to build retention and bring that program. I love it. I love it. That's what we have to do. We have to make deliberate and intentional steps to correct an incorrect system, even within our own communities. Too often we're just getting by. I'm tired of getting by. I'm tired of barely making it. I'm tired of just getting
Exactly.
through in the door.
Scratchy.
But it
Exactly.
comes, yeah, yeah. In that regard, because one other example, I was talking to this other African American social worker, and she had to
Mhm, mhm.
correct again one of her white counterparts, and the social worker slash even therapist wanted to send the client to a mental health evaluation at a hospital for Tourette's and schizophrenia. Just why? Because he kept beating his head and says, "Excuse me." Well, he kept beating his head every time I talk. I said, so she says, well, what kind of hairstyle did he have? Was it cut short, or he had to what? She said, well, he had some sort of braids or something. She says, listen, this is what we do to scratch our head when we have braids and all that. He wasn't crazy. He was trying to relieve an itch. And it's those type
Exactly.
of things that we jump too far into conclusions and having the wrong scenario, because we already know, again, especially young black boys in the school system, they're incorrectly diagnosed and over medicated. So that's why we have this fear. And it still doesn't help that we had this whole thing with the Tuskegee experiments, again, where the federal government infiltrated our own HBCUs in that regards as well.
Well,
So now,
hell,
Bobby, yeah,
the
go ahead.
FBI infiltrated Black Lives Matter. So we know it's
Well,
still out there. The COINTELPRO is
right,
still out there. We just gotta,
right.
listen. We have no friends. Plain and simple. We have no friends. No
Uh-huh.
friends. So we got to understand that only how we get out of this predicament, all of our situations, we have to help one another, meaning that everybody has to bring their crumb to the table, because
I love that.
individually you can't destroy. We have to understand, you cannot destroy or replace any institution solo, individualized.
Right.
We have to do it in
Right.
groups. We have to do it as a group
Yes.
effort. That is our nature. Is co-op work. That's us.
Yes.
That's us.
Yes.
That's what we
Yes.
brought over. That's what it's just in us. Let's just face it, it's in us. So therefore, everybody has to do their work. Just like AIM. That's what we call her cousin Amy. Like Amy.
AIM.
She's applying herself to Wilberforce. It's like with anything.
Yes.
If you want to make that change, you make the change for yourself. So
Yes.
what she's doing, hey,
Yes.
she want to see something change. She wants to, be positive. She's implementing herself in that institution, Wilberforce University, to make the changes. And we will definitely follow and support her. And that's what we need to do.
Most
We have to
definitely.
back and
I
support
love
one
it.
another.
Yeah, and we have to become the agents of change as opposed to the agents of destruction. And I think there's definitely a huge difference in that and becoming agents of change. Bobby, as we were talking, Jerron, what's going on? Cultural mistrust is real, and we must help
Yes.
each other. We have to help our people. I'm so glad. Jerron, can I just, Jerron, can I announce it? May I? I'm not going to announce it unless you give me permission to announce what I want to announce about you. So give me permission, and I want to announce that. But Bobby, talk to me
Yeah.
about your discovery about when it comes to the HBCU, the naming of the HBCU. When you told me that absolutely blew my mind. Yes, I can. Thank you, brother Jerron. I am so proud to announce that Jerron is one of our latest Black male therapists that's going to be joining Marcel Wellness Center. And so we are trying to do our part. Listen, Jerron is
That's right.
brilliant. So glad to have him a part of our team coming up. So you're going to be hearing lots of announcements. Jerron, I'm going to have you on the show so we can definitely talk about your vision and dreams with Marcel. And we are thrilled. I am so honored. And it's a great honor when you have colleagues and brothers like Jerron that reach out and say, bro, I appreciate and I believe in your vision. What can I do to join forces? I don't look at him as an employee. I look at him as a partner. And what can I do to partner with you? See you very soon. I know that's right. I know that's right. And what can I do to partner in the vision that you have and add my expertise to it? So it's beautiful. And like you said, that's how we make a difference. That's how we make a difference in everything. And everything. But can you share that fact that you found out as you were, man, I'm excited too. You see, I can barely hold it. With the facts you found out as you looked at the names of our HBCUs.
No doubt. First of all, shout out to The Narrative, Nubia. If you haven't joined, please join up, sign up. Unbelievable. Anyway, no, it's just out there. You do your little research. I mean, a lot of these HBCUs were not named after African Americans. I mean, for instance, Wilberforce. Wilberforce, he was a Euro American. Well, I shouldn't say Euro American. He was a Euro. He was a Brit abolitionist from England. I mean, you can go down Clark, Hampton, Fisk. I mean, it goes on and on, I mean, yes, there are some HBCUs named after African Americans, but a lot of those universities, was named after Euros. Hey, at the time, probably needed the funding. Why not? But we just gotta understand that, once again, if you control the narrative, you control a lot of things. So we just got to understand that, hey, it's not over with. We still got work to do, and we just need to support each other. No question.
We really, really do. Now, our Mac in the back, Mr. Darrell, is an HBCU grad. Yes, and we appreciate that.
What school you go to? What school the Mac in the back?
Darrell, Clark Atlanta? I'm waiting for him to talk in my ear, yo. Yeah, he said that is correct. He went to Clark Atlanta.
And also, our uncle attended there as well. Yeah. Uncle Tim attended Atlanta University. Atlanta University, they're combined. Atlanta Clark. He attended
Shut
Atlanta
the front.
University.
Well,
Yeah,
that part I do, but I didn't know. Get out of here. See, I keep
yeah,
learning more. He just been everywhere.
yeah.
See, that's a shame that again we don't know even our own family history in great details, and these are things that we should be celebrating and making sure generations after us do know, and we hold that near and dear to our hearts. I may not have had, because there was a time I wanted to go down south and go to either Morehouse, or at the time it was Clark, and then Atlanta was that before they had combined. But I'm not gonna lie, I was like, "Ooh, Atlanta, that's bigger than me." Coming from NERC. I love that. Grambling State University opened on November 1st. I love that, 1901, as the Colored Industrial and Agricultural School. I'm an alum. That's right. Love it. Love Jonathan. Love it. Love it, man. Yes, yes, yes. I love it.
And
All
the
y'all who
craziest
attend
thing, though,
HBCUs, give a shout out to us. Go ahead.
the
Go
craziest
ahead,
thing
Junior.
too is W.E.B. Du Bois was at Wilberforce and Atlanta University as well. It's a little crazy. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay,
Ancestors
okay,
be
okay.
talking sometimes, brother.
They be talking all the time.
They be
And I
talking
think if we
sometimes, brother.
understood the rich history of that and got to appreciate it a lot more. I know with Raven, my daughter, your niece, who is a proud graduate of, as she says, the Tuskegee University,
Yeah,
where
no doubt.
yes, and she is very, 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 very proud about her graduation and being there, and she's going to be talking also at the program on Saturday the 15th, and just sharing her and Khalil about their experiences and of going to HBCUs. And we say that because we definitely want to challenge everyone. CAU Panther Pride, I'll find a way or make one. Yeah, okay, got it. Come on, come on, come on. That's right.
And
I'll
let's
find a way
yeah,
or make one.
go
But
ahead.
that's Clark. Yeah, that's what that is. I love that. I'll find a way or make one. What if we took on that same pride and that philosophy? I will find a way or make one. How
Mhm.
would that change even our approach and our what's the word I'm trying to look for, Junior? Our approach and even our acceptance of HBCUs? Because I think there's a misnotion. I was talking to a family member, and there still is this misnotion that an HBCU. Now, don't judge me, y'all, because I'm not saying this, but I still think there's this misnomer that you get a less quality education at a HBCU than you do a PWT. PWU rather, and I would definitely strongly beg to differ in that. I think you get more support. You don't have to fight as much. I was a number in a lot of my classes. I remember my U.S. history class. I was one of 1,500 in that class. My professor never knew who I was, or anything like that. Do
Yeah.
you think that misnomer is still true today, Bobby, with what people feel about HBCUs?
No question. But I think a lot of it is you have to be comfortable where you're at, because there's horror stories that
That
people do
part.
not talk about when the brothers and sisters go down to these HBCUs and hit some culture shock and they're like, oh, I can't handle it. There's situations like that. People don't talk about that. But speaking on, HBCU universities, as far as their models and whatnot, Wilberforce is by one's own toil, effort, courage. So
Mm,
so,
mm,
you know,
that's
it it
good.
it it but a lot of times, the ones who do go to HBCUs, now I'm just my opinion and from what I've been hearing from others, is you at HBCUs, you get that home feel. The classes
Yes.
are not as big. So you get, like you're saying, how the professors, they will know those students' names.
Yes.
They take on a moniker, hey, well, I'm up here. Yeah, I might be your professor, but I'm your auntie. I'm your uncle.
Yes.
I'm your mother. I'm your father away from home. So it's that intimate relationship, I think, that at these HBCUs that they offer, that a lot of people don't understand, that who are outside of our culture. So,
No,
like you were saying
I
that,
would agree.
like you were
Yeah.
saying, yeah, like you were
Go
saying
ahead.
that. So it's more home feel, more, I understand what this person's going through. They understand me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you get that
Mm-hmm.
up close and a personal perspective by attending an HBCU. However, like I said, only if you can handle it, because some people can't handle that culture shock. They can't handle it.
But now, Bobby, let's go here. Berkeley was a
Yeah.
culture shock for me. I didn't visit Berkeley before I went there, and here I am, graduated on Wednesday, went to grad night Wednesday night, got home, who knows, Thursday morning, slept all day Thursday. Friday, I was on a plane to UC Berkeley because I had already missed the first week of school, summer school, because they started my school, high school at Irvine High, graduated late. So here I am in Irvine, now moving to Northern California and they drove past People's Park, where all the homeless, I hadn't seen homelessness before. I was in culture shock. No, so what's the difference between culture shock at a PWU versus culture shock at an HBCU? It's shock nonetheless.
No question.
I think I would have done better with culture shock, and I had some greens and some candy yams and macaroni and cheese. I can get over that culture shock better than I can with just getting a slice of Blondie's pizza that gave me heartburn.
Oh, hey, no question, no question. But you know what? But that's interesting, right? That's interesting, right? Because
come on, yes, that's right, Sonia. Good to see you. Yes, I represent.
You came from
Ebony,
North High School. You came from high school, predominantly white school. You went to Irvine. You would say what? Predominantly white school then. So then you got up to Berkeley, predominantly white.
But now here's the thing. Yeah, it was. But I went to Summer Bridge, and so we had an all black dorm. So that was what made it nice was everyone in the Summer Bridge program and everyone in the dorm were black folk, because we were the ones that they were kind of letting in on a trial basis. Yeah. I was a part of the year that they let the most black folk in. Sonia, how's Ebony doing down in Xavier? I hope you're loving it and loving it, and she's having a great time too. And let us know how we can support her. We want, but in that regards, Junior, I took a major. I was, wait a minute, y'all. Stop the presses. Stop the presses. The Mac in the back said he could come on and speak to the culture shock. It's got to be Easter.
I didn't say I was coming on camera. I just said I'll come on audio.
Okay. He corrected me. He said I didn't say I was coming on camera. I'll come on audio.
I'm live. They can hear me.
No doubt.
Oh, can you hear him? He be talking to me all the time. I don't know if he. So Mac in the back, Daryl. Welcome to the show. We so glad to have you. People don't even know what your voice sound like.
I know, right?
I think he turns the bass lower on his
when he
EQs.
Don't do that. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that.
Look, turn mine down. I want to sound like Barry White.
It's rough in the field. Yeah.
But Daryl, talk to us about the culture shock, really, because there is now. At the time, were you and your parents living in Atlanta?
Yeah, I lived in Atlanta for my junior and senior year in high school, and then went to Clark Atlanta. And I knew that I knew from freshman year in high school when I was in San Francisco that I was going to be going to Clark Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah.
What made you choose? What made you choose? Because I always said I was going to Stanford. Mm-hmm. And then got to Berkeley purely by accident. And then I was foolish enough to only apply to Berkeley. Mm-hmm. And I didn't apply anywhere else. I put all my eggs in one basket. If I didn't get accepted, I didn't know what I was going to be doing. So don't do like me, y'all. Don't do like me. But what made you choose Clark Atlanta while you still lived in San Francisco your freshman year in high school?
So there was a college fair that came to San Francisco, and it was an HBCU college fair. And I knew I wanted to go to a HBCU. I wasn't sure which one at the time. And mind you, I was 14. And I knew I wanted a career in, at the time, a career in media. And
Okay.
and I did my research, and I knew that for media, the best HBCUs were either Clark Atlanta or Howard. Remember, Howard was they funneled into BET, but back when BET was in DC.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
I was one of those two. But then when I went to this college fair, I spoke to the gentleman from Howard, and that conversation went really well. And then I remember this guy, I spoke to him from Tuskegee, and he was so rude. He was like, "Oh no, we don't have that kind of program. No, what you need to do is just you'll have to do 4 years of English and then transfer somewhere else." Like, "Oh yeah, let's don't even waste your time with us."
4 years of English.
Yeah, right. That's what I said.
Wow.
And then the lady from Clark Atlanta heard me and was like, "Come over here, baby. Come talk to me." And I talked to her for about an hour. Me and my father, he was with me. And she just painted this great picture. She said, "You ever watched A Different World? It's just like that." And she wasn't lying. That's exactly what it was. And I knew then. She handed me that pamphlet, and I was like, "This is the school for me." And I kept doing more and more research, and that's what it was. But the culture shock what happened was, even though I think maybe it was a little easier for me because going from San Francisco, I moved to Atlanta for the remainder of high school, then went to a black college. So I was a little more. I had a heads up before I started there. But a lot of times when you're black and you're in these I won't say all white, but mostly white spaces, even you don't realize that black people are not a monolith. And when you go to an HBCU, you learn very quickly, yes, we are not a monolith. There is everybody there. You have the I call them like the black nerds and geeks, you have the cool people, you have the I know.
Sorry,
have
I fit in kind of probably the nerd geek category.
but if you don't see that at home, like if you didn't see that at home, or if you didn't see that in your high
I was still in culture shock.
I
still had all of Ohio dripping off of me.
But it was shocked to see, like, oh wow, you got some Steve Urkels here. These are people that really live like this, but they're cool. But they're cool, but you don't know they exist. You got the folks from New York, and the folks from Louisiana, and the folks from the South, and they and all of those. Everybody's bringing their own local culture into this one big melting pot, and so you're hearing different accents. The way people shake hands and dap up is different. All of that, and you're kind of learning your way through that. It's a great experience, but it is a version of culture shock. And I loved it though. I would not. If I could go back, I'd do it all over again.
Wow. And that's amazing. And definitely we want to encourage, listen, have the conversations, give your children other options. For me, where I found solace, Bobby, is really joining the Black Student Union. And by my sophomore year, I was an officer. Here's how foolish I was. I thought every college campus in America had a gospel choir. So I was looking for the gospel choir at Berkeley. I was naive. I just thought everyone did because I wanted to sing with the gospel choir at Denison, but mom and dad wouldn't let me sing with them because they said I was too young. So I said, I'll just start my own. That's a long story.
Right. No doubt.
So I was looking for the gospel choir. They didn't have it. So I started it my freshman year. And it went from 7 of us that folks was laughing at us. By the time I graduated, it was up to 125 of us. And then 2 years later, it actually became a college curriculum course at UC Berkeley. And so,
wow.
Yeah. You remember that? Well, at my graduation, you saw I taught the entire graduation to sing, and we had that song, "Lift Every Voice, Let Freedom Ring," at that time. But I found solace and because my minor was African American Studies, and so that's where, Bobby, when I said all the professors, Dr. Margaret Wilkinson, and I went to her house, Dr. Roy Thomas, all these people poured into me and really affirmed who I was as a black man and as a black scholar, and actually they were trying to get me to go to UCLA to get my master's and come back and get my PhD at UC Berkeley and teach in the African American Studies department during that time as well.
Hey, Mark,
no doubt. Shout out to Blanche Hughes. I went to PWI, Colorado State University, but Blanche Hughes, she was over the Black Students Union, no question. She was there. She helped us. She was like a mother to us. I mean, we went to her house and ate, broke bread with her. It was like an open door policy. She helped us out when we had any type of
Yes.
situations with our coaching staff.
Yes.
You know, because once again, they didn't know how to handle us black folks on the team. But yeah, my situation is different. I played ball. I had a scholarship at Colorado State University. No question, I would have been in trouble at HBCU. You would probably have plenty more nieces and nephews, because it was bad at CSU on campus, because the basketball team, we were dormed with the track team. Okay, I can't even go into that. I'm gonna start reminiscing.
That's a different show.
All I'm saying was,
show.
when all them girls on the track team, Lord Jesus, have mercy. So I know it'd have been awful for me at an HBCU. It would have been awful. I would have had.
We praise God that you went to Colorado State. Yes, amen.
Could you imagine me at Howard in DC? Lord have mercy.
Marty?
Mom, you got another grandbaby, mama.
When I was speaking earlier, I took my eyes off the comments. Just wanted to make sure that Sonia knew that I did see. She said that Ebony is doing excellent, and she is a psychology major. And and she said she needs to connect more with people in her field. She, as the other kids, are fighting all of the struggles of attending an HBCU.
Oh, wow. Yes, definitely. Sonia, let me help you and find some colleagues down there, because there's a couple of things that she can join on Facebook. They have a Black Therapist Rocks. I love it. Yes. My daughter went there and is going to become, that's right, Dr. Wilson, who did, congrats. And Sonia, there's also a couple groups. So look for a couple of the groups on Facebook, Black Girls Therapist Rock, and there's a couple other ones on there that can help. But reach out to me. I'll text you, and let me see who I know in that area that can support her, because you're right, we all need to get mentors and support in there, and tell her to hang in there. If you get past that first year and those first 2 years, the rest is the homecoming and pressing through it, because there's always those hard marks that you think that you want to quit. Do not quit. Village. This is when we have to pull our village together. So whoever knows any good people in Xavier that can listen, it was just good to be able to get a home cooked meal. My homegirl, Veronica, excellent, Sonia. My homegirl, Veronica Whitfield, she had family up there, and we could go to her aunt and uncle's house and got Easter meal and some meals on Sunday. And my homegirl, Dr. Idella Watts Johnson, her mama, Miss Johnson, she would cook for us. And oh my God, she says, listen, I'm your mama away from home. And it's those type of things and those relationships that push you through and make sure. So it is a village. And you're right, Junior, it's that whole cooperative model that pushed us through and made sure that we were going to graduate too, because I felt like if I did not, I was letting the entire community down.
No doubt. And I want to add on to that. I think that, that once again, that's with us connecting with our youth. I would highly recommend, definitely incoming freshmen or even sophomores or whatnot, find somebody on campus who's a student, who's an elder, meaning that upperclassman.
That's good.
Who got their head on right, and
that's good.
See if you can follow them, mentor them, because that's what I did. When I was on the basketball team, I found out who was doing the right thing as far as the upperclassmen on the team, and I would gravitate toward them, meaning that I would follow them, see how they interacted with things. Therefore, you could develop your own mentorship, not only with my instance teammate, but with your classmates. Go ahead and I know it's kind of hard, but open yourself up. I mean, just ask them hey, you know what? I've been, I like your vibe. I see what you're doing. And is there a way that you can help me out or assist me in as far as, my travels and journey on campus at this institution? Because believe it or not, a lot of people are willing to help. You just got to sometimes
Yeah.
apply yourself and open yourself up, because I'm sure, no one wants to see anybody fail. And if you get a good vibe or create a friendship with an upperclassman, they'll help you. So I recommend that. Find a mentor
That's
on
right.
campus, somebody who, you can learn from, and they can show you the ropes. Because like you said,
That's good.
sometimes it's hard to navigate by yourself out here. So that's one thing I recommend, because I know I did it.
But yeah, we can't
reached out
we
to
can't be in a
upperclassmen.
silo and think that we can do this all by ourselves. We have to
Exactly.
rely and get
Exactly.
help. And what I like about what a couple of them did at Berkeley, I can't remember her name. There was this AKA that befriended me my freshman year, and she was an upperclassman, and she really helped with that.
Yes.
And then there were some alphas who helped mentor me and made sure we had these
Yes.
partnerships. And they were the ones who said, no, avoid this professor, go here, no, get
Exactly.
out of that class and take this
Exactly.
next time, or sit next to me and let's do notes together. Shameless plug, Mel's link up with the greatest fraternities ever. Come on, Dr. Davis.
I was about to
He's
pledge
a
Kappa.
shameless-
I almost pledged Kappa. They was asking us for too much money though. It's like we're broke we're broke students here. Can't come up with that money.
Yes,
We were gonna
yes.
pledge
Okay,
Kappa,
Bobby.
but they was asking for too much money.
Bobby, real quick. It goes, and TGJ stated that when you stay within yourself, you are missing out on your blessings because there is someone out there to help you succeed. I totally agree with that, Amy. Totally agree with that. So listen, the whole point of this is that we give back, we support our young people, and let's make a difference. Listen, these colleges and universities were built on nickels and dimes. Y'all, we have the ability. It's something as low as, listen, we're asking if those who want to be a part of the Lee Sellers and the Sellers Foundation, you can give as little as $10 a month, $20 a month, $50 a month, $1,000 a month, what have you, and it's all tax deductible because we are a 501(c) nonprofit, and our goal is to start off at Wilberforce, but we want to also look at the amazing Sonias in the world. Sonia Griffith, whose daughter Ebony is studying psychology, and Sonia, tell her if she needs any help in those, please let me know, because I got into this field late because UC Berkeley had the writers of the psychology books, and I disagreed with them. And so I was learning psychology from an Anglo point of view, and they did not care to deal with the African American or people of color. And so I got out of it. That's how I went into legal studies. But my passion, even from day one, was psychology. In that. So, Bobby, I know, Sonia, don't laugh. You don't know who Kim Burrell is, and in that regard, but I'm going to introduce you to Sonia Griffith, because Sonia is a singing somebody. I have been admiring her voice for years and years and years. When I was going to college, and she used to sing with L.A. Mass, and she sang a song, y'all, That's When You Bless Me. And you could have left me standing there with no one to care. She will sing you under the bench. Now, Sonia is amazing. She has a voice. Listen, that is to die for. And then when I met her in person, I felt like I met a superstar, and she is still that same amazing, awesome person. She doesn't have the attitude like Kim Burrell, but she is a singer that is in her own right. So Sonia, shout out to you. If y'all don't know who Sonia Griffith is, if you have not listened to her music, you need to go ahead and go to LA Mass and just get everything you can from her and listen, because she is singer of singers that is so down to earth, who lives out the gospel truth, and her daughter is living in her footsteps as well. So shout out to Sonia Griffith. And even though, Bobby, you don't know who Kim Burrell is, Amy, yes, she can sing, and yes, she is, and yes, she can sing. That's right. That's right. Of course, Sonia, you know I've always been your number one fan. She's just amazing and can sing jazz, blues, you name it. Her riffs is out this world. But anyway, so Bobby, I don't have a Kim Burrell to introduce you to, but definitely meet Sonia Griffith virtually. Yes.
Does Kim Burrell sing, or is she a pastor? Or she do both?
She does both.
Oh,
does
okay.
both.
Well, you know what? I am kind of familiar in small sense because, she does a little shout out on the Roland Martin Unfiltered show. So I'm kind of, that's about it though.
Oh, okay.
She shouts out Roland Martin Unfiltered, So that's pretty much it. But besides the other antics, I'm not.
The Mac in the back is yelling in my ear, y'all, and I have to end the show. With that, nothing else being said. Bobby, how can we follow you and make sure that and how can people also, if they want to donate to the Lee Sellers, the Sellers Foundation, or even donate and buy a ticket for the banquet for someone else who is in need, how can they do that?
No doubt. We got tickets on Eventbrite. You can go to Eventbrite, type in Eventbrite. I will say what? Is it backslash? Yes, backslash the Dr. Lee Sellers, and it'll come up as far as the ticket purchases. Also, you can contribute to any of the mobile banking systems. Obviously, $, the Sellers Foundation. Also, you can go to Venmo, the Sellers Foundation, and also you can go to PayPal, which is under the Sellers Foundation as well. If you want to check me out, you can always check me out on Instagram at ARSells2. You can also see it in the background. You go to AlecRoberts.com. You can check us out on the B-Side Podcast. I have my own podcast too, giving you barbershop talk in your living room. So you can always go to, like I said, the BSidePodcast.com. You can check us out on IG at the B-Side Podcast Q. Check us on Twitter. Elon Musk. It's just I cringe when I ever hear that name. But anyway, Twitter. The B-Side Podcast #2, B-Side Podcast #2. You can catch me at on Twitter as well at Rob_B-Sales. And there it is. Tune in. Check us out. The B-Side Podcast on YouTube, on all podcast platforms. Like I said, the B-Side Podcast, giving you barbershop talk in your living room.
In your living room. Thank you, Bobby.
No problem.
In your living room. We will add all of those descriptions, all those way that you can donate in the descriptions right after the show to make sure if you want to donate. We would love your donations. Again, all donations are 100% tax deductible, and 100% of all of your donations will go into the scholarship. We do not add administrative fees or anything else like that. 100% of your donation is guaranteed to go to a student in need. We're not like other foundations or organizations that has processing fees and administrative and all that. No, we want to make sure that every penny goes to a student because we want to build the future minds of our young people by continue to create a powerful legacy. So Daryl, let's go straight to the end this week. So again, thank you for joining us. I appreciate everything that you all are doing. Again, we don't want you to continue to secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we want you to speak up, speak out, and live. We will see you on next Tuesday, same time, same bat channel. God bless you. We're out.
Peace.